You are listening to the Next Play podcast, the playbook for high-performing leaders who want to exceed their full potential. From walking on the Ole Miss football team at 5'7", 150 pounds and earning a full D1 scholarship, to coaching thousands around the world and working with massive organizations like IBM. I've learned countless lessons that I'll be sharing right here with you. Join me as I interview some of the most successful people so you too can learn how to focus on always moving forward by deciding, planning, and executing on the next play relentlessly. This is Richie Contartesi with the Next Play podcast, and today we have a very special guest by the name of James Miller. He's a client of mine. He's someone who I've known for quite a few years now, and someone who I have a lot of respect for. He went from a regular 9-to-5 in the medical industry because he really had a passion for helping people, to moving all the way up to the second highest rank of a company today known as Rain Beauty. He's now actually in corporate in a leadership role with Rain Products, which is a direct sales company where he gets and really helps other people at a way deeper level than he ever did in the medical profession. There it was more in and out. Now he helps people in his organization grow and build their businesses to the same success that he has. He's been in the industry for over 5 years, and he loves sales and marketing, but his passion is truly in helping people to achieve their goals and watching them do that. So it's really powerful. James is an awesome person, such a nice human being, and a pleasure to work with. So James, thanks so much for being on the show.
Man, thank you, buddy. That was something else. I've never really been introduced like that. So, man, there's a pump up right there. Like I said, it's an honor. I mean, I've watched these, and it's cool the different types of people that you have on them and what you can learn from each one, and it's really nice to be on, my friend.
Awesome. Well, cool. James, I just want to talk real quick. You went from 9-to-5 successful business to then moving into corporate to help other people achieve what they want in their life and grow their business to success. So walk me through, I just want to first learn, how did you go from, 9-to-5 to building your own business to all the way to the second highest rank in the company?
Yeah. So right out of high school, my whole life, I've really had a passion for helping people. And so right out of high school, I went into the medical field. It was nursing and then traveling CNA, and it eventually became a podorthist, which is it's kind of like a pharmacist to a podiatrist. If you have any foot related issues, you come to me and I help you with bracing, things like that. And so, had been working that, almost 10 years, I think, and had moved up. I was working at several clinics, and it was getting to where, the more people I saw, the more they tried to move more people in. And so I wasn't able to spend the amount of time I really wanted to. I was still helping people, but it was getting just kind of like an in and out the door type thing. I wasn't liking it. About that time, my wife, which stay-at-home mom, she really wanted something that she could kind of call her own, something she could do for fun. She came across Rain Products. And so she started working it, and then I started kind of helping her, and we were having fun. And what's really crazy is I didn't know it at the time, but I don't know if you've ever done this. I'm sure some people probably watching have, but the owner of the company was having me train his son. Little did I know he wanted his son to move into my spot. And so that happened about the same time we were getting kind of large within the company. And so, we kind of had a fork in the road. Do I go find another podorthist job, or do we go like full force into Rain Products? And me and my wife sat down. We were like, we really enjoy it. I'm getting that what I need from helping people. And, instead of like medical wise, I'm helping them, build their dreams business wise and, growth wise. And so we were like, let's give it a go. And so that's kind of how I moved from the 9-to-5 to a network marketing, different type of business for sure.
So how did you take, okay, so that's that kitchen table conversation that the golden handcuffs has stopped a lot of people from pursuing.
Right.
So walk me through, so you made that decision. What was that like? Like, did your days change? Did your mornings change? Did you walk me through what that was like?
So the thing is, I think most people we were at a level where we were doing pretty well at this time. Um, Not quite as good as I was doing with my 9 to 5, but I knew in my soul that if I was amount of attention, we would be able to accomplish great things. I'm not saying it's easy. It's always scary whenever, it's the unknown. And if you get in that 9 to 5 mindset, it's really easy to get stuck there because, regardless, I did have, money coming in a sales business, that if you work hard, you're going to make money, but it's still not that guaranteed. And so getting out of that 9 to 5 mentality was a little bit hard. But like I said, I was getting money. You always want money, but there's that, kind of unknown key to, what you're looking for, and being able to help people made it a lot easier because I would have a person coming in that, had never even jumped on a live video before and had never sold anything before. And then within, a month or so, they're doing live videos, they're making a little bit of money, their whole mentality changed. And that's what I love to see. This field that I'm in right now is awesome because you work as much on helping like a person motivationally, helping them kind of personal development wise as you do anything else. And so you see people that come in that are super shy that within months are, reaching out to people and talking to people where they never would have. And just seeing that kind of thing really, it just does it for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's,
because you have to become, in order to have a business that's successful, you have to become a certain person first. And I think this is a big thing, a big learning lesson is like, it doesn't even matter if you're in a leadership role or you're starting your own business. In order to get to a specific level of success, you have to have a specific skill set. And you also have to have a specific EQ, right? Emotional intelligence to be able to get to that place. So a lot of entrepreneurs can get to a place, but they're not willing to do it, what it takes, or leaders to get to the next place. You have to become a different you have to progress more, right? You have to learn new skills. You have to change whether they're, technical skills or EQ skills or emotional skills in order to do things like, eliminate fear and not worry about failure. And like those sort of things are the lower level. And then as you get and progress more, it gets more and more challenging. And so you've created this process where it's like, how do we take someone who's just getting started, who doesn't have any of this, not just the technical, but the other skills as well, and get them and can continuously progress to get to the next level. So so you're working with people. So how did you move all the way up to the second rank? Like, how did you do that?
so like I said, it was weird for us because we had never been in sales. Me and my wife, we'd never been in network marketing. We'd never been in anything where you had to reach out and talk to people. I'm naturally pretty friendly. I don't, I go into a place and I never really have a problem making friends, but really we just jumped on live, talked about the products, and it just grew from there. I definitely would have done a lot of things different now that I know certain things, but I feel like at the time, maybe I needed to do those things to learn, you know what I'm saying? To whereas like I was working with every single person that, joined our team individually, and we were spending
Yeah.
so much time, which like I said, I don't mind it, but it got to where we were bringing on 5, 6, 7, 8 people a week. And to do that individually is pretty rough, because everybody's at a different point and a different skill set. And like you said, emotional, where are they? Are they going to be nervous about jumping on a live? We really just lowered our heads and put the work in. In fact, we lowered our heads so much, we didn't even realize we were at the second highest at the company until the person who was on atop of us, they were like, so what's your plans for convention? And we had been at the company, I think 5 months at this time. And we were like, oh, I don't think we're going to go this year. You know, we've been busy, this and that. She was like, no, you've got to go. And we were like, what do you mean? And they were like, you're like second in the company. You like really have got to go. And so we were like, okay. So we went. And it was crazy because we lowered our heads and worked. But there's a lot of people within the company that would like watch other people, you know, see what they do, try to mimic it, which isn't a bad thing at all. I'm definitely not saying you can't do that, but we didn't have time to do that because we were bringing people on. We were jumping on live selling. We were reaching out to people. We were promoting the business. We were looking for new prospects. And so we didn't have time. But when we pulled up to the convention, it was like, there's James and Jacinda. Hey, what's going on? And it was really a surreal thing because we didn't realize. And so, so glad we went though, because it changed a lot of like our mindset of how other people looked at us, where, you know, at the time we knew we were leaders within our team, but we didn't necessarily feel we were leaders within the company. But after seeing, it didn't matter where the person was from, they knew who we were. They knew the games we were playing, the way we were reaching out to people. And so it just was really cool. And you know, that's the first time we met the owner and her husband. And they had been watching us too. And we were like, oh, wow, that's kind of weird, but very cool at the same time. So that's kind of really to get back to your question, just lowering our heads and really just working with people one-on-one. Now, if I was to do it now, especially after working with you and learning some things from you, I would do it a little bit differently. But like I said, I feel like it was perfect at the time because we needed the different problems that each individual person had to know how to address that to a group. Does that make sense? Like if we had done it as a group at the time, I don't feel like we would have learned the lessons as leaders that we did. So I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and you just got to roll with it and, you know, make the best out of what's given. And so I think it definitely happened for a reason like that.
That's awesome, man. It's good that you know, the big one is that you put your head down and you went all in on one thing. And that's, you know, one of the things that obviously Next Play is all about is focus and staying focused on the most important thing in front of you. If you have too many different focuses, the past, the future, this thing, that thing, then you do things you don't go all in. You do things at a lower level. You can't get into a state of flow. And so you were probably in that state quite frequently. So I'm actually interested to hear, you said, you know, you had success, but if you were to do it again, you would do some things differently. What would that be? What would you do differently?
We worked like a lot. So we were going live several hours a night just on our personal sales and, you know, growing our followers and what have you. But we also were like on our new advisors' lives. We were talking to them. I think doing it over again with the knowledge I know now, I would put them into categories and work with them in different groups. And so like the questions that one might have could answer for several instead of going over several questions, just training wise, because another reason I love this job, and I never knew this. I wish I had found this love earlier in life, because I feel like I would know more now. But I really found out that I love marketing. I love learning skills to like help marketing and help people network and things like that. And so I've just learned so much. I mean, even at home, my wife gets mad because she wants to sit down and watch a show on TV, and I'm like YouTubing how to grow a Facebook page. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it interests me. I'm reading like 3 books at the same time right now over it. But I mean, it's like that saying goes, if you find something you're interested in, you're never really working. You know what I mean? And so that's what I like. I really wanted to get back on something because you were like, you lowered your head and you were in that state of flow. You got to remember at this time, I went, you know, the road less traveled, because I could have easily went and found a Podorthus job, But it's like, look, we ain't doing it. We're going. I mean, I kind of had to lower my head because I had, kids I had to feed. I had, still had a mortgage, still had car payments. And so it was like, look, this has got to work. And so once again, I think it happened at the right time, because not having that why, that fork in the road, I may have just continued down the road we were going, which we were having success, but it wouldn't have taken me near where I went because I had to go there. You know what I mean? And so I think sometimes if you give yourself like that, I've got to do it. What's the reason I've got to do it? Maybe it's to where, I'm not saying go out and quit your job, but I bet if you quit your job and had to do it, it would look a lot different than, you kind of on the fence about how much you're doing and this and that. So.
Awesome, dude. It's, so how did you go? Okay. So then what was your reasoning, or why did you take the leap then to go into a leadership role? Because they're different things, right? It goes from you were in a leadership role, but you in a more formal leadership role. What was your thought process behind that? Why did you do that?
So we're actually moving like right through the storyline. So I'm at convention, the first convention, people are like, hey, James and Jacinda, what's going on? So nice to meet y'all. I didn't know who half of them were. I was like, even probably more than half. I was
That's
like,
because you were the badass.
Hey, I was like, I wasn't trying to be like I said, I really, and I tell people within, we work with the field right now of, hundreds, thousands. And I'm like, definitely know who people are. But I'm like, man, I never had time to jump on anybody else's live. I never had time. I would much rather not know more people, but it's because I'm focusing more on what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But so we're at convention, and Amanda Brunson, which that's the owner, her husband, Nate Brunson. Shout out, Amanda. Anyways, they started this new thing within the company, and it was called Leadership Council, I think. And I didn't know anything. Nobody really knew anything about it. But what they were going to do is they were putting together, I think it was 5 or 6 people in the company that they thought were leaders, and they were going to put them into this group, and it was going to kind of be the corporate eyes and ears to the field, because with so many people, there's no way to see, hey, this person needs help with this. This is what's going on with the field. They're not going live anyway. So it's kind of like their eyes and ears out in the field. Well, they announced this on the first night, and the thing's 3 days. They announced it on the first night. And so everybody's like, oh man, who's going to get picked? Is it going to be you? And this person's been with the company so long, and this person, their sales or whatever. And so me and Jacinda didn't really think nothing of it, because, at this time, I think we were only like 5 months in, right? So we're still babies in the company. We were making some waves, but we didn't even really know that. So it came the last night, and me and Jacinda were picked with like 3 of the people who had been there for when the company started, and then another person that was top of, sales in the company. And so we were like, oh my gosh, we like had no idea. And so we didn't even have to think of it. I was like, if I can help more people, I wanted to help more people. It almost become like a drug. I was like getting addicted to it, because I was like, just the feeling of somebody coming up and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I never thought of that. Thank you so much. I've been able to increase this. I've been able to have this much, replies to comments that I've given for prospecting, or my sales have gone up. Thanks so much. And so it was a no-brainer for us. We jumped on and, just gave them everything that we had been doing, and just helped out as much as possible.
Wow. And so how do you feel, your role as a leader and just like moving up within the organization? What do you feel have been your biggest learning, discoveries, on this road that you've been? So how long have you been in corporate first?
So I've been at corporate for 4 years now.
Okay. So so walk me through that. What is your biggest, what have you learned from your leadership role in corporate that someone can now take? Because I'm just thinking in terms of, okay, you moved to corporate, you had all this success, you moved into a leadership role, and you obviously have had a lot of success, but it's different than when you first started,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So what would you say today that you know, as a leader, what are some of the big kind of skill sets or qualities or things that you've learned that you're using today that are much different than when you started?
Um, I mean, I'm a firm believer on thinking outside the box. I noticed that the people that do well really with any company are the ones that have that ability to, if something isn't working or it's not working like they want to sit down and put pen to paper and think of some ideas that, maybe they don't see anybody else using, and it doesn't matter if it's just the most ridiculous thing, just write it down and then look and maybe try to figure out how to rein it in some, or maybe, how to rein some out if it's not, enough. I was always big on tracking what I did. So when I did a live, I would go back and I would be like, okay, so before the live, I would write some stuff down. We're gonna try this, game. We're gonna try this technique to get more viewers in, right? And so then after that live, I would review how did it go, and I would write down, hey, this was a win, this one was garbage, this was, a maybe, we need to tweak it a little bit. I always did that, and I teach people that, like, I train them to do that, because if you don't have a baseline of what you're trying to accomplish and you can't go back, it's so hard to make it where you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
like you got to know where you're at. You got to know what you've tried. You've got to know what worked. You got to know what to tweak, what to use again, what to throw away. And I just think there's so many people that don't do that. And it could be in any business, you know what I'm saying? Not just network marketing.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's almost like you wouldn't go on a journey to Africa without knowing, I'm going to hit this stop. We're going to, change planes and hit that stop. And so you can't just go willy nilly within any business. And so, just specifically in our field of business, a lot of times people come in and they think, I just hit that live button and sell. And it does work sometimes. It does. And you may have, some small growth and what have you. But if you're really wanting to accomplish big things, you need to sit down and figure out how to get to that big things place and
Right.
mark your spots along the way.
For sure. Yeah, it's such a good point, and that's something that we talk about all the time is not just doing activities but tracking them. And the reason being is because if you don't track activities, then you're always guessing. I think we should do this. I believe this would work, or I think. There's nothing worse than being in a meeting with a bunch of people and we're all saying I think. That's something we were actually doing yesterday. We didn't have the numbers, so we're waiting today as a team, and we're gonna have a meeting on an event that we had. We're looking every single number, then we make decisions, and that's such a thing that in sales especially, people will look at results, which is important. You've got to look at results, but if you don't know the activities and you're not tracking the activities, how could you know where the hole is in the game? Right?
Dude,
How do you
100.
know? How do you know what to fix? So I think that's powerful, man, because when you had your head down, it was just go. It didn't matter, right? But
Right.
now it's like I work smarter, which is
Right.
I'm going to
Right.
go, but then I'm going to make decisions based on data, not decisions based on feelings, right? And I
Right.
think that's a really important concept. And so how do you instill this in your team? Like how, you got hundreds of people like that. What you do is extremely challenging compared to even just a regular corporate executive position because you have so many direct people. So how do you go about, like, how do you instill skill sets like that in across the board?
So we have weekly meetings where I give them pieces, like broad overviews, right, of things that they need to accomplish or things that are working or techniques to use. And then I see who's like going out and trying to make it happen, who's, reaching out to me and wanting more information, and who, is just kind of sitting back. And those are kind of the piles that I work in, so to speak. And so, like you said, there's no way, even though there's two of us in this role, there's still no way to put hands on every person in the company. And so really we try to see who's in what area at this time, and reach out to those people and give them the information they need, because you can easily overload a new person too. And so it is kind of tricky, but what we see working is, during these weekly calls and what have you, giving them broad information, ideas that they can use and kind of run with. We have several in the company that, I'll be like, hey, we need to try this, this, and this. And then the next thing I know, they've gone out and researched and they're trying 8 different things. And I love that. And that's somebody who 100%, they come to me and they're like, hey, we're kind of stuck. I'm reaching out to them back out every single time. Not that I don't everyone, but those are the ones that, they want it. You can tell who wants it and who's kind of on the fence, which here's the deal. I mean, especially in our industry, it's not rare for somebody to come in and just want, they want to make enough to cover half their car payment for the month. And that's great. And that's what I love too, is that we have an avenue for them to do it. But we also have an avenue for somebody to come in and be like, I hate my job. I work 9 to 5. I'm going to kill it until I get where I need to get to quit my 9 to 5 job and do this. And so we can help whatever you need. You want to make $50 a month? I could get you there. You want to make, whatever that number is, because it's different from everybody, the quit your job number, we can work with you to get you there too. And so,
yeah. Why do you think network marketing can have such a bad rap? Because like you said, it can do a lot of powerful things for people. And that's what, like, maybe is it people that come in and they just do it unethically? Like, why do you think it has a bad rap, even though it's done so many positive things? Like even EXP Realty. I mean, like this is a realty company that's a network marketing company. Yep. I mean, you know what I mean? Like why does it have a bad rap?
So here's what I think, because I've thought on this a lot and I've talked to a lot of people about it. Network market, there's no other industry that I can think of where you can have your own business for $150 or $100 or whatever the starter kit is. You legit have your own business. Now, the company will provide you with the things you need to sell, but at the end of the day, it's your business, right? And so if someone started a brick and mortar business, there's a lot more regulations that can go into that, and it's not as easy to get into it. And so you don't see as much of the, the scamming and in the different things. And so I really think the thing that makes it great is also the thing that makes it have the ability to, get a bad rap, because anybody can legit do it. There's no other. Can you think of anything else where you could start a business for $100?
Yeah. I mean, that's no, because you know what it is? It would be like some drop shipping. However, something, but still you'd have
to pay your website fee. You would have to market it. You would, I mean, there's a lot.
It's done for you in a box, products shipped, everything, right?
Yeah. And it really is up to you on how much you want to put into it, how much, the sky's the limit. I mean, that's why once you get out of a 9 to 5 mentality, you realize that you're no longer really trading your time for money. You're trading your experience, your knowledge, your, all the other things for money. And so that's why I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's powerful, man. So today, what does it take to be successful in your industry as a business owner?
I mean, really,
like what are the top best people doing?
I mean, they're really giving it everything that they have. They're not scared, like I said, to think about outside the box. They definitely see what's working and what's not. They know where they're going. They monitor, every step of the way. And I mean, like I said, they're just, staying busy. I mean, see, the thing is, most people do work a 9 to 5. And so they're like, I work this 8 hours, I get paid X amount of dollars. But whenever they jump into this, they turn into a business owner. And it's like, if I don't, if I don't produce and I don't make money. And so a lot of times it's hard to put the work first to reap the rewards later. And if you work a 9 to 5, you get rewarded regardless. As long as you get that job, the rewards are coming. To work your own business, which as well as I do, I'm sure there's times that you're like, look, we're going to try this and we're going to put everything into it. But at the end of the day, you can never be 100% certain that something's going to work. And it's that scared mentality, I think, that really hold a lot back. And then whenever the first time something doesn't work, a lot of people are like, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. And so it's getting a person in a business owner mindset. And it's like, look, here's the deal. Maybe you didn't get any sales today, but you grew some new followers or you made some new connections, and down the line, that's going to pay off. You might not see it today, but the hour that you spent writing out your posts for the week, that's going to pay off down the line.
Yeah. So this is really good. So in any leadership role, right, you have, especially in sales, right, specifically sales, in the beginning, you have to build your book, right? And that takes time. It's that exponential curve, right? So the connections, the followers in any sales role, it's all the upfront work that leads to the exponential growth later.
100%.
So in your position, how do you keep people focused on today's play, right? Growing the followers today, doing the live today, the little things that we can't see the end result right now, but because you've been doing this for so long, they will have that end result in the future. How are you keeping them focused, right, on that just today? Because that's the key. Well, for us, that's what we do, right? That's the name of the game. How are you doing that in with such a big audience? What does that look like?
Well, so luckily, it would be hard to do this position and everything we do with one person. Luckily, I have Chelsea, and Chelsea is really a big cheerleader for them and letting them know, usually daily in our group, our field group that has everyone, like, hey, what are you working on today? This is what we need. I mean, I do the same thing. But really it's giving them small, steps that they can take action to. I mean, maybe it's, hey guys, reach out to 2 people today. Hey guys, check out this item. What's your favorite item? Tell your customers about it. And then eventually you'll notice the ones that pick it up, which typically become the leaders in our company. They don't need us to do that as much. They kind of figure that out for themselves. And they're like, this is my goal for today. This is what steps I'm taking. And so that's what we're constantly looking. I mean, I was part of the first leadership group in RAIN. Now we have a legacy council. It's pretty much the same thing. And the people that are in our legacy council, those are the guys that pretty much, they don't need that cheerleading. They're of course, everybody likes a cheer every once in a while, but I mean, it's like they have that self-motivation, and we still go in and work with them, but it's a different kind of a different level. It's like more teaching them how to be leaders and what they could do to cheer their teams on in the field on. And so they're super important to us. It would be so much harder to do this job without legacy council involved.
Right. And that's their role, is like, because regardless of how successful you are, we all have to get focused. Like we have so much things going on in our life, right? But for them, it's teaching them now how to keep their people focused on a day in and day out basis.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
And see, even getting back to like your salespeople, not in network marketing, people that are, top salespeople, like you said, they do the same thing. I mean, when they start, sometimes they won't see that gold at the end of the tunnel, but they have to keep reaching out to people. They have to keep, prospecting. They have to keep, communications. It may go 6 months talking to a person and keeping a conversation going before that person's ready to buy whatever that might be. So it is similar in a lot of sense to an everyday salesperson.
For sure. Yeah.
Our field is because, I had done a little bit of sales, not a lot. And it's worrisome because you can go out one day and plan on hitting 10 places and nobody buys anything. But if you keep that in your head that, they didn't buy anything, but I made that connection, they may not be ready now, but I'm going to reach out to them in a couple of weeks, or, just getting your name out there. It's learning how to see that those will serve you later. You know what I mean? And someone working at like a Walmart, or any kind of just typical 9 to 5, it's hard. It's a lot of times it's hard for them to even move into a sales position or move into a network marketing position because it's ingrained in them. I worked 8 hours, so I'm going to get, X amount of dollars next week. So there's definitely super close similarities for sure.
Right. And the fact that there's no cap, which I like.
Oh yeah.
So,
but see, that's the other thing. Now, having done it, I could never, I don't think, go to something that there's a cap like that. And so, and it's weird. It's so much, it's almost having a confidence in yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to know that at the end of the day, you'll do what it takes to get the job done, to do what you need to do. Right. And so I think that's a hurdle for a lot of people, especially I've had people that have, been right there on the edge of that. Look, I'm making enough money right now to quit my job, but still it's super scary. I'm like, right. I know it's scary. Nobody said, anything that's worth anything is going to be scary, right? I feel like any decision you make that's going to pay out in the end is going to be a scary decision. There's no, oh man, I feel great about this and it's going to be a great, but getting over that hurdle of trusting yourself to be able to do the work and make things happen, I think is super big whenever it comes to that step.
Awesome. I love it, man. So James, obviously you've had a successful career, but you're only just beginning, right?
Right.
So what's your next play? What's the next level for you?
Just really helping as many people as I can. Getting as many people in this company as we can. I would love to be doing 100 times, be helping 100 times more people. I don't care if we got to bring more people into the field development area. It doesn't matter to me. I just want to be able to let people know that, there's other ways, there's other avenues than trading, your time for money. There's other things that you can do. And I think especially, there's so many things going on right now in the world that, it's no better time. Gas prices all-time high. You got, just crazy inflation going on. And even to have just something on the side, to see what it's like before you commit 100%. That's really where my head's at. I want to help as many people as I can. So
bringing in more people.
Yeah. No,
to the
100%,
family.
100%.
Beautiful. Well, James, I really appreciate you being on the show today, man. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that I maybe didn't think of or ask?
I don't know. No, I think we covered everything that I can think of as well. I definitely appreciate the work that you've done, with the field, and super motivational. Shoot, every once in a while I feel like I need to text Richie and be like, hey, hit me with it. Just say two sentences of motivation, buddy. I need it. No, I so much appreciate being on and you having me, and yeah, anything I could do to help you, my friend, let me know.
Awesome. Well, James, really appreciate you being on the show, man. Means a lot, and look forward to continuing to watch you grow.
For sure. Thank you, buddy.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Next Play podcast. If you liked the show, make sure to leave us a review. For more resources, visit relentlessuniversity.com or download the free Relentless University app. And if you're interested in having me speak at your next event, visit relentlessrichie.com. Until next time.